I was enraged that I had tears in my eyes and I couldn't even look at my friends, but I can feel eyes on me.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Throwing Tantrums, or this might actually be on my Move, Groove, Grow podcast. I have just way too many podcasts nowadays. I don't know. I just want to cross share everything. So today is a solo episode, another solo episode featuring one of our talented dancers, Rosie Alvarado. She's one of the younger dancers, the ones that call us boomers when we're millennials, self-deprecating millennials.
All the time.
I'm going to pass the ball to her. And if it's your first time hopping on to this podcast, I don't know what episode this is, but this is Throwing Tantrums, the official podcast of Temper Tantrums. We are an LA-based hip-hop entertainment company. We're still doing our best to entertain you guys despite everything that's happening right now, whether it's COVID or racism, or we're just trying to use our talents to uplift the people. That's what we're here to do. But since we're not moving right now, we're using our voice. So with that, I want to introduce to you guys Rosie.
Hey, what up, everybody? My name is Rosie Alvarado, or Rosie Avocado, as my IG.
Blood. Sonic, as what she was.
Sonic.
Yeah, we connected when we found out we were huge Sonic nerds.
Dude, that was a moment of wow, we can be friends.
It's very rare to find other Sonic fans, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very rare, especially if they don't know like the old OG Sonic games. It's oh my gosh.
Yeah, Sonic was my preference over Mario, because Sonic was the badass versus Mario is
dude,
laying pipes.
when they first got out Sonic and Mario Olympics, I was like, bro.
Oh,
Sonic.
I've never played it. When I play Smash Brothers, I play as Sonic.
I play as Sonic.
I played as Star Fox first, because he's in Smash Brothers in 64 and Nintendo 64. He was the fastest guy, and Sonic came in. And
you're oh my gosh, everything changes.
Yeah, so a little bit about you, who are you currently dancing with? Sorry, I interrupted your intro.
It's okay. I currently and have been dancing with a Freestyle dance company.
Ooh.
Based on North Hollywood area. Yeah, North Hollywood Evolution Studios. I've been with them for about 4 to 5 years now, coming up.
Shouts out to Miss Funk and Breeze Lee.
Yeah, for sure. They're holding it down. Even with this quarantine, they're holding it down with all these classes and conversations that they're having.
The first time I saw them was in a jam in Alhambra at a studio called JV.
Yeah?
So, yeah, way back. Yeah. I didn't battle. It was, I don't know, I think it was just a popping battle, so I wasn't, I break, so I was there to watch.
Emeroy popping?
My original style, I started off as popping.
Really?
Yeah, but it was right after You Got Served came out, 2004.
Wow.
But me and my friends, we didn't know history. We just saw it was on TV. It was oh yeah, Omarion. Yeah, pop lock.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first battle was in the back of a record store. Where there was car stereos. It was when Virgin Record Store was still around, and then my first battle. This was when Crump was first coming out, and it was big shirts, and it was the bangs, and it was the early stages of Crump. So my first battle was me and some of the original founders of Fanbiz versus some random guys the Crumpers from my high school. And we set it up in the back of this record store. The employees didn't do shit. We just put some music. We had fucking random vibe routines. How a lot of the battles happen now. If it's a duo, they just vibe off each other.
Yeah.
It wasn't back then. I don't think it was that much of a thing unless it was a commando or a set routine. But we were just vibing off each other, and we psyched them out.
That's so dope. And you gotta love this on the spot scenarios just happen.
That was that was actually my first ever battle, because I was like, you got served. Like, oh man, I want to battle too. Man.
Like, oh my gosh, I'm in this.
There's a new because I was like, I was in the choreo world for a while, like first. So I was like, this exists. And then
Battles exist.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a new world, and then because of that, the whole you got served thing, and even going through like the step up, like throughout high school, I battled like me and my friends and that same group. We always ended up battling at different parts of the school, but the assistant principal and everyone always thought it was a legit fight. To the point that they banned battling from my school.
Legit?
Yeah, they're like, there will be no battle dancing on this campus. Because they always thought it was a fight. Like, securities would be like, hey, what are you doing here? And we're like, we're dancing.
Like, we're dancing. We're battling.
We're battling.
Get out of here.
Yeah, sorry. Who else are you dancing with? These tangents. See, I told you, this like organic stuff happens, yeah.
Love it. I also dance with Temper Tantrum. Wow, here we are.
Yay.
I'm like very new to Temper Tantrum.
I mean,
because it wasn't like I never like performed with you guys before.
Yeah, like I invited you a couple times to the project, but you were always like, "No, I'm too good for you guys." So,
Emeroy, some of us got things to do, and distance is pretty far.
Oh yeah. So
no,
like,
it's also because like your rehearsals are very like different, like or conflicting. Because I had Freestyle and stuff like that.
Yeah, like that's a common thing. So, especially with Liz, like those of you guys don't know Liz, she's one of our mutual friends, amazing choreographer. Don't follow her. She's a bitch, but follow her because she's awesome. But yeah, I started like modifying my rehearsal times. Right after my rehearsal, we would go to her rehearsal because like half the people in Temper Tantrum are in her stuff now. So like we're sharing dancers.
That's great.
Who else did you dance with? Actually, let's bring it back from the beginning because I want to know a little bit more of your origin story. Like how you got into dance. Like how old were you? And how did you know you wanted to go beyond just a hobby?
Okay. Well, I mean, like, how I first started with dance, it just kind of happened, like, very fluid. Like, coming from my background in heritage and culture and, like, an Hispanic family, you always have dance. You know, you're always, like, exposed to that.
Yeah.
You know? And as a child, I was very, very, like, that one kid that just wanted to do everything. I was like, oh, karate, I'm going to do that. Dance, I'm going to do that. Cooking, I'm going to do that. Because I was very involved with after-school programs, and I've always been enrolled in after-school programs since
That's cool.
K through 12. Like, I was always, like, in it. I don't know. Because I was that kid, like, I want to stay in school. I don't want to go home, man.
Were you a nerd? Were you like you loved school?
I did. I would purposely go to summer school just so I can just have fun at school.
Was it because you enjoyed? Wow, you're fucking weird. Was it because what, your friends, or what, just an overall really great environment?
I just loved school. I just loved going to school. Because back in those days. Back in those days.
Now you know how I feel.
Oh, I had to stop myself. I was like, oh, I don't like saying that. But like growing up in after school programs, like from my experience from them, they were just so like involved and very like, I feel like they had more funds, honestly. I really feel like they had more funds because like they had like very, like snack time was like delicious. Unlike like it was good. It was like real food. And it's like they always had these activities for us throughout the week, and it was very like, if you want to do this, you can just do it. If you want to do arts and crafts, you can do that. You know, if you haven't done your homework, then you got to do that first.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, that's why I like about. I mean, I'm noticing that since I was in culture shock, the common thing I heard about after school programs was that they would be cutting funding. Like which is why culture shock program existed, and then again hearing it more recently throughout the years, schools getting affected by funds being cut. But I do like after school programs because it's definitely helped my son out, Jordan, in regards to not like for his own social development, because it's like one thing that he loves hanging out with me and Steph, his mom. Yeah. But it's one thing. But he's gotten a lot more confident. One of the programs he's in is he loves drama. Wow. So he's gotten super, like, his level of confidence was like, he was like soft spoken. If you watch the old videos of my vlogs, like, he was soft spoken. Now he's like loud and kind of like a lot more of what you see in the streams.
Yeah. So, he's like very social.
And when he's on this, he's very different on the streams. On the streams, he is like wild. And when we're not streaming, he's like, "Hey, Dad, let's play this
chill.
Game." Yeah.
Chill. I was like, why are you acting different?
I know. I think I said that one time in the stream. Like, who are you right now?
What happened?
So, how old were you when you started dancing?
My earliest memory was probably 3rd grade.
Oh, sick! Then
we had a little after-school dance team that was unofficial, but it was official. I don't know. But we would do those little performances and stuff like that. And but it was never serious, you know, because again, I was just that kid that just wanted to do everything. And whenever I felt like doing it, like, I feel like dancing this week, and then the next week I feel like playing soccer. I was very heavily into soccer as a child. So like, that's why when we had this little team, they actually had me as their captain, and I was like, no, because I want to play soccer.
Wow.
So it was not serious to me. I just had very many interests, and I still do. But like, as a child, I would act on it. Coming middle school, I still had these dance classes and like acting classes and all that stuff. Still never serious. I was just doing them because why not?
That's good. Yeah, like, it's good that you got to like taste a whole bunch of different things at a young age.
Yeah, it was very like dope. But I will say, like, I feel like the spark of probably going or having a little bit more interest in dance was my coach, JP, John Paul. Shout out to him. He was like the one really saying, like, you know, you should do that. Like, you should do that more often. You know, or you should try doing this more often. And like, I never really had anyone tell me, like, you know what, you should keep going. You're gonna have adults that say, like, oh, you did good or whatever it is, but I never had an adult tell me, like, you should do that more often, or you should try that more. Yeah.
Like the encouragement, like the praise versus encouragement.
Yeah, it was that was like the first time hearing it from him too. Because I know how heavily he was in acting and dance and all that stuff. And I still have him in contact to these days, and we're always talking and stuff like that. So just dabbling in dance at that point, and then coming high school, this is where it starts turning, because we had the option of either taking PE or dance. And I was like, FPE, I'm going to dance. Like, I don't want to run and do all that stuff.
Do a mile
every time. So I was like, no, I'm just going to dance. That's easy. So that's when I met my lovely, amazing high school dance teacher, Miss Pino, Laura Pino. She was that teacher that really loved her job. Like, she really loved teaching, and she really loved supporting her students. That woman has done so much for me. If it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be dancing right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So freshman year, I did dance class, and then coming my sophomore year, I still did the dance class. Junior year, I auditioned for the dance team. And then the next year after that, I was head captain of the dance team for my senior year.
Nice.
But throughout that time, like, those 4 years, just talking to Miss Pino, she was always like, you should really look into like teams or schools that do dance stuff, and I'll help you. And she actually did. She wrote cover letters for me. She helped me with the audition process and everything. Like, I actually, I tried enrolling in AMDA and actually made it.
What's AMDA?
AMDA, yeah. The American Musical Arts Academy, something like that. It's based off LA, right next to Capitol Records. They have one in LA and I have one in New York.
Oh, wow. It's a performing arts college and conservative. Oh, wow. I've never heard of this.
Yeah. But basically, you have artists like, I think Anthony Ramos came from there. Jason Derulo is another one. Yeah. And I actually made it. I actually got enrolled. They accepted me. But because it was so dang expensive, I was like, I can't do that. But like Miss Pena was still like, you shouldn't stop dancing either way, you know. But graduation comes in, and mind you, the whole time being in dance team and all that stuff, I was doing small trainings of ballet and lyrical and all that stuff. Well, we never really had training in hip hop. We never really had that, you know. The school never funded our dance program, so my teacher would pay out of her pocket for costumes. She would actually sew each and every one of our costumes for every piece that we had. Wow. There's like 30 of us on that team. Damn. So the whole time you would always see her with her little sewing machine just doing it, and then we would help her out if we had the time, whatever it is. But she always wanted us to like go and practice. Yeah. She would be the one to sew and stuff.
What high school is this?
Reseda High School.
Reseda High School.
Now it's a charter, so now they have money.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they're I mean, they're good.
Schools just need to have proper funding.
Yeah. But it was tough on her because the administration they're actually trying to take down the dance program. They're legit actually trying. For no reason, I don't know why. But she fought tooth and nail for us. Like, she would even have to like freaking sneak us in the room during summer because they didn't want us to have summer practice, but all the other teams could have summer practices. So she was like, nah. She kind of made a pact with other teachers, be like, hey, okay, let me borrow the key, just pick up in, I'll come back. And I'm like, yeah. Man. Yeah.
Respect, man.
She fought. Like, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's frustrating is like people, I feel like much of our current society, it just feels like it. This is just my perspective, is that they very much undervalue the arts and the positive effect that it has on the youth, because they think, you know, they value IQ so much, academics and all that stuff, and it's like, but we need to have the balance of the creativity, because, you know, left brain, right brain, that whole kind of thing. Like, and I did a podcast with students I used to coach when they were in high school. They're adults now. Yeah. Fuck. And then, one of them was 13 when I was coaching them. She's like 23 now. And then but they're both, it's a trip. Like, but we made a joke that maybe their involvement with the arts is what drives them to more of the traditional jobs, like sciences. The kids that I interviewed, the former dancers, they're both scientists now. So, wow. So it's like their involvement with the arts in their teen years, too much of it, time to go.
That's too much of it. Cut it out.
But they definitely don't deny the fact that, or the environment that dance had in their life of like being in a community, working hard together, the importance of hard work, persevering, all this other lessons that they took throughout their life, you know, while I was corrupting them. So
good old teacher Emeroy.
They told me that I was I forgot. I used to do some insane workouts that would like kill them. Like,
same with my students.
Yeah, because I was, you know, the mentality is like, make it hard here so it's easier when you're on stage. So it's like we're Sonic and Knuckles. All right, so like, when did you discover hip hop?
So it started out with the choreography scene again in high school, whatever. And then after graduating, I actually stopped dancing for a year just because I had to now figure out where I was going to go. I was going to go to CSUN after graduating, but I missed the deadline, so I had to go to Pierce first and take some classes there. So dancing, I rarely danced during that year. And it wasn't until my high school teacher, texted me saying, hey, do you remember Versatile? And I was like, yeah, that one group that performed that one day. She was like, yeah, they have a little junior team, and you're of age, so I think you should check it out and audition. It's a week-long audition process, intensively. Wow. But she was like, I think you should do it. And I was like, cool. Now, the only reason I went is because I was bored. I was bored. I wasn't dancing, so I was like, a week? I can dance for a week. Cool. It's been a while. So me and my couple of friends went for that week, and that's when I had a huge wake-up call of my stamina and my endurance, because none of it was there. But again, like, I was just auditioning just for the heck of it. Like, the goal wasn't to make it. I didn't really care. Like, that was my mentality that year. And then fast forward, I did make it, and I was like, oh, okay. And then they had the contract, and they're like, okay, you guys just gonna meet up every Friday and Sundays, blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, okay, I can do that. That's fine, whatever. But again, like, as I was doing these rehearsals, it was different. And I didn't take it seriously until like the third week. Like, I had that thought in my mind saying, I think this company is serious about what they do. that legit, because I was like, oh my gosh, we're still here. We're still sweating a lot. And just the training and all the things that they were teaching us, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a whole thing about this. And then what I really got into it was when I went to my first battle event with the Great One-Eighters. Shout out to the Great One-Eighters. I went to the family affair that they had, and I was blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, it's even better than You Got Served. Like, oh
the battle scene.
The battle scene. And I was just,
those events are fucking live, man. I miss jams, man.
Dude, and that's when from then on, that's when I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to keep doing this, you know. And then, like, Jackie and Lee, they would always say, like, you can make a living off of dance. Like, you can do it. It's not impossible. And they always, like, encourage that. And, oh my gosh, let me rewind.
Okay.
Because this is important.
Okay.
This is important.
Okay.
I'll go back to Jackie and Lee for a second. But back to high school. My senior year. The head counselor in front of my senior class, most of them, said, because she saw that I was enrolling into AMDA at that time, the performing arts school, and she said, well, you're not going to do anything with dance. You're not going to do nothing with dance. You can't do anything with it. In front of everybody. And then she legit said, come to my office so we can fix it so you can go to the CSUN or something. And I was like, I was enraged that I had tears in my eyes, and I couldn't even look at my friends, but I can feel eyes on me. And I was like, this lady legit told me that I can't do anything with dance. She legit, a head counselor told me that.
And you know, it's ironic, the whole adult saying, like, you can be anything, chase your dreams, follow your passion, as long as it's realistic.
As long as it's realistic.
As long as it fits the path. Wait, who was it in front of your entire senior class?
Yeah, because we had to gather in this small hallway just because we were doing some, like, signing stuff. I don't know what we were doing. I think we were getting ready for a test or something, and I don't know, but it required us to put the school code on the paper. And she was just making sure we all had the right school code. And she came to me, she said that. And I was like, you could have just told me this, like, in private. Like,
yeah, that's like in private. That's how you lose respect of authority, yeah.
I know. And I was like, oh my gosh. So that's when my whole mindset changed. And that's like that whole year of not dancing. It was just like, I didn't care anymore. And that's why with the whole audition, I didn't care. I didn't care whether I got in or not. So, and I was just like...
The stories you're sharing right now are definitely showing, like, the impact adults can have on kids, no matter the age. Like, you had one adult encourage you, and another adult discourage you.
Yeah.
And I remember I forgot what the statistics were, but kids, you know, be living better lives, so to speak, if they have a supportive adult, whether it's their parents or a mentor. So it's wild.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, because they look up to us as, like, though we don't have anything figured out, they do look up to us as guidance.
Yeah.
So that's why I always tell you guys, college students, to drop out.
Yeah. I was like, you always tell us to drop out, man. I feel it. Thanks.
Stop wasting your money. Take it from a guy with a bachelor's degree.
Thank you. You're like, wow, okay, thank you for the support and encouragement.
Oh, but I as much as but I think I made it as a joke, like drop out means graduate. So,
yeah. Haha.
So, because I think it was Rachel that graduated. I think it was Deshaun, and I commented and said, "You finally dropped out."
You finally dropped out. They're like, "Oh, that's what you meant."
It's like reverse psychology. So, all the other dance experience you had was jazz and contempt.
Training wise,
training wise,
and in
prior
high school,
to hip hop.
we did the whole choreography thing that we thought was hip hop at the time. You know,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
No,
but being exposed to it in training form and foundation wise was Freestyle.
I have I have a weird belief, theory, or hypothesis that people who have traditional or classical training, I'd say in the Western styles of like ballet, jazz, not hip hop, contemporary.
Yeah.
The foundation of that translates super well to people who go to hip hop.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that too. It's like
that's not to say like people who are just doing hip hop solo and starting with it, they can't still be great. But like it's like I've just noticed that there's a movement quality that jazz dancers have that I don't know. I was watching your shitty solo session on your story.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I totally didn't try. Because I was watching it, like the body control was nasty. There's a certain like a movement quality that of certainty, for lack of a better saying, that feels great. The transition going to the floor was a little sketchy, but the floor work and the little beat hit was nasty. Yeah, dude. I was like, that was transition.
So as when you commented on it, I didn't see that until after. I was like, oh, the transition needs work. Floor work concept is nasty. Body control is nasty. The person sucks, but the dance is great.
Yeah. So, forget that person.
Sucks. No. It was because when I watch the videos, like anyone's videos, like, I get analytical. So when you said you did study jazz and contempt, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Why there's a certain, I'd say, bigness or roundness with your movement or your extension. Because
it helps a lot. Like I noticed because I'm taking Randy's floor work program. Shout out to Randy.
She's beast. Ooh, I don't know who she is, but I love her stuff. No, I don't know. I don't know her. I don't know her personally. Like, what? I don't know her personally, but I've seen her work. It's fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm. She's insane, and like I noticed that there's some movement that she would have us do that other people would probably that just only did hip hop have trouble with, and people that have done like the modern stuff is a lot more fluid and more comfortable. Because in a sense, it's all connected, like all movements connected. And I feel like if you have that modern or jazz training background, like you understand a little bit more about weight shifting and a little bit more of lines and angles and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that just keeps it in perspective when you're going into like hip hop or even house or whatever style. Like you have that understanding of it, like a lot more fluid.
Yeah, and that's why I think I love it when dancers like crossover in terms of like the classical genres of dance, and then there's the hip hop styles of dance, or even the house styles of dance, because then the vocabulary extends and the movement, and you start doing like freestyling or doing movement, pulling little bits of information or inspiration to your freestyle. So, was the Versa style 1 week audition? Was that your first time doing hip hop, like that style of hip hop ever?
Yeah, and that week it wasn't just hip hop, but it was popping and it was locking. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure they had house involved, so it was just like these are long hours throughout the week. Like it would start from 11 a.m. and end at 5 p.m.
This is an audition?
This is an audition process.
Wow, I've never heard of a one. That's what blows me away. I've never heard a 1 week audition before.
They say like it's an intensive week, but if we are interested in auditioning, then we gotta take the full week and then we'll audition at the end.
Oh, it's kind of like
just to see if you're dedicated. Like, do you really want to audition? Like,
Yeah,
You
field
really want
trip.
to go for this? Yeah. So it was just, I would say 3 or 4 classes every day of different styles.
Man, I would love that. That's fun, dude.
Insane. And those are hot summers.
Is it free or are these paid?
I think it should, from my memory, it was $50 for the whole week.
So it's like
cheap.
A summer intensive, yeah. Compared to other
cheap.
ones, yeah. I've paid like maybe 100 to 200 something for a weekend training. But those intensives like level you up, man.
Yeah,
sick.
And you're just like, oh.
Yeah, making me wanna sign up because I haven't invested in my own dance training. I've just been doing solo training. But the fact that you're saying it and now it's like bringing back memories of when I took intensives, and then my friends saying those early FanBiz days, like my friends saying like, "Damn, your choreography got nasty. You got like just over a weekend." So it's
these intensive events, they bring something out of you.
Yeah,
you got no choice.
Yeah, it's like it's like you're learning from so many different perspectives and the way to approach things. Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna enroll into another one.
And it's crazy because like if I was just coming in blank slate, I had no idea about any of this. I was just like, oh my gosh, so much knowledge.
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 Did you? Actually, we'll go with that. Like, what were the first styles you learned, and which one do you feel like you gravitate to the most?
I think the first styles I learned from my memory, I think it would have to be hip hop and house because we would, at the same time, because we would half out the day of our training. So our training days would be like 3 hours. So the first hour would probably be like hip hop, and the second or third hour would be like house or something like that. So I feel like the more focus was hip hop and house. And then turned into locking, and then gradually turned into whacking, and then to crump, and then all this other stuff. But I feel like we predominantly, in the beginning, trained in hip hop and house. And so I gravitate more towards hip hop, just because, I don't know, I just do. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Something you feel in the soul.
I don't know, but yeah, like, I feel soul. Nobody can take it away from me. But yeah, I would do. I feel like I gravitate towards hip hop more, just because like the bounces and the bounces, the rocks, the rolls and waves. I feel like they're like it makes sense to me in my body that I don't have to think about it, and I just do, because they always had a tendency of telling us, you guys are forgetting the grooves, and sometimes it would come like one by one to us and be like, do it again because you're forgetting the grooves. So we can't move on until everybody does this whole round with grooves and all that stuff. So so I feel like with that training of just grooves and just hardcore, like just focus on it, like it's like now within me, so now it's just now comfortable area. I'll never forget that foundation. So, and then I go into battles. That's my first style that I choose to do.
I think that's one of the things that I feel like many young aspiring freestyle dancers are missing, are the grooves, because it becomes what I call limmy. Like they're just trying to, like, it's almost like very and then some people make it work, but then there's a certain jerkiness I see.
You can tell.
Yeah, because this whole midsection is like nothing's happening, and then I remember when I was first introduced to house back in with Culture Shock, or everything, like every different style we were trained in, like you gotta here's the groove you need to understand for house, for locking, for popping, for everything. And I was like, holy shit, everything has a different kind of groove that I guess essentially gives it life. But yeah, I forgot where I was going with that, but because you just brought back memories of like the intense training that I also went with Culture Shock. Fucking 6 steps across the floor.
Right, I miss it.
Ooh, yeah.
Those across the floors, man.
Yeah, like, and then this was when
memories.
Yeah, and I remember doing that with FanBiz back in the day. Like when I was the the director of it. Like we would do locking training, we would do iron horses or witchaways across the floors. We would do we would do.
I could just imagine that. What?
Yeah, dude, people had a hard time walking upstairs the following day. So
I can imagine. Yeah.
Because the judges are like, for any hip hop dance competition, I don't know, like especially if you do a street style, they are super hard on it. That's one of the reasons why I think some people there's just a theory that competitive hip hop crews or competitive companies stopped using it because it's judged harder, because there's a technique that, you know, there's a dancer doing locking, and then there's a locker. So which is and you can tell, like, and one of my friends, Devin, who was one of the founders of a crew back in, they called Sick Step, SICK Step. So they were one of the their pre Quest crew. Quest crew came out of Sick Step.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, the Devin, like whenever I saw him judge, and I'm like, fuck, and we have a locking section. I'm like, I'm expecting score sheets to be like we'd be like 80, 90,
you're trash,
and then fucking 60 or something from Devin. Like but it's because I get where he's coming from, because I consider myself a locker and a b-boy, and I'm like, I get it. You know, these dancers aren't exactly lockers, so I can see that why you're killing us for not having the groove properly, not having the technique properly. So I'm like, I see why it's deducted so much. Have you ever been to a Hip Hop International?
Hip Hop International?
Yeah.
No.
Have you heard of it?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I've heard of most of these competitions that are the craze.
Well, dude, Hip Hop International, I don't know how other people view it, but when I was going, it's wild, because it's like people, all over the world. It's almost like a freestyle sessions, but people all over the world come into battle, and I liked their judging system. Like, I think 8 judges, 4 just judging like musicality, spacing, like all the stuff you would hear in competitions. Like, but then another 4 dedicated to like the style quality, is a locking technique.
That's good.
So that's why.
Smart.
Yeah, I liked it, because it's all the routines. I don't know how it is now, but you had to have at least a few of the styles in there. You had to have locking. You had to have house. You had to have breaking. At least 2. Like, and they would give you a pass if it was at least 2 moves. But
wow.
Yeah, that's why I liked it. Like, and a lot of, it was a big event. Like, I know a lot of my friends who are very much in the underground community here, they would also battle there. So yeah, it was like. Yeah, it was
those battles?
Wild. Like, I remember, it's, I don't know. Maybe it's because of the name that I put so much pressure on it, but it was.
Yeah, I would think that because like these competitions have these little battles going on, and I'm always curious. So
yeah.
Like, is there
and then
battle?
I was there. I think I was there when. This was an early Les Twins era, like before they got super big, and then I saw them, and then they're like, people were there like, oh, that's Les Twins, and then I was like, oh, that's them. Like I let these stories kind of intimidate me. I think if I remember the story correctly, I don't know if this is a dream or not, but I remember one of the Les Twins went before me in the showcase round. And I was like, fuck.
Okay. Okay.
Because I was already nervous.
Now you have to go after him.
So I'm like, it's like someone else go. So I can...
Please, somebody.
Yeah.
Please.
That's one thing. Like, when I notice when I'm like nervous in battles, I go way too fast. It's like... Like, what for in regards to battles? What do you do anything to like help with the nervousness, or like any of your battle experiences? Really?
I'm always nervous, always, all the time.
Even now?
And I know, like, even yeah.
You should talk to a therapist. Are you really nervous?
Wow. No, well,
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, you're doing great. So
It's okay.
it's just weird. We're not
Thanks.
talking shit to each other. That's all. It's the
Yeah,
most
I know,
normal
that's why.
conversation
So I'm
we've
like,
had.
it's okay. But we never do this.
So yeah, sorry.
But, yeah, when I'm during a battle, if I don't, no, I would say it's before. Whether or not I go first or not, I'm always pacing. I have to pace myself.
Oh my god, I think I've noticed that.
Because I have to focus. Like you see, like the videos of me, I'm pacing back and forth because I'm trying to get like.
I've noticed that.
That's how I focus.
Yeah, like,
I focus like that.
For me, I've noticed in a battle. One of the things I hate about jams is the waiting for your name to be called out because you're hyped. He's like, yeah, my name can get called at any second. 2 hours later. Tired now. I want to go home. Like, you know, like it's like because I normally try to stay warm by going into ciphers, keep the energy up, but then if it takes forever, it's like you get stuck just wanting to watch the battle. So
yeah,
like
well,
mad props to everyone who's able to like just keep the energy up in these battles, man. So it's really like not just a skill game, it's a mental game because it's dealing with your energy throughout the day of just waiting for long periods or the anticipation. So one of my favorite battles, I think I've shared this before in some other podcasts, but it was called Cypher in the Hood, called in New Jersey.
I've heard this one.
It's where they it's very organic. I think it's three ciphers, one cipher's for whatever, two ciphers for the battles. You put in your names and then you just wait for your name to be called while there's ciphers just happening throughout the whole thing. That was like the only time I ever went with my AK Almond Joy. So,
that's your AK?
Yeah.
What?
It was nicknamed to me. It was when during a culture shock rehearsal on stage. I have a tendency to have like really goofy faces when I'm locking, and then one of my friends, D girl. She was like Almond Joy Roy, and then my friend George Durr, who's like one of the I forgot what his AK was, but he's big in the locking community. He was like, "That's it, that's your AK. That's now and forever. That is your locking name." So
Almond Joy.
Yeah.
Wowee.
So that was like the Cypher in the Hood was the only time I went as Almond Joy. I think I could be wrong, because I was simply just too lazy to be like, I didn't want to hear the MC go Emery.
Emery. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, Almond Joy is easy to remember. So they told me to. So when they called my name, they just told me go to this cipher, and you just cipher and wait. And then your opponent comes out of nowhere. They call you out. It's like a cipher. It's like a regular. I don't know if you've ever done cipher battles. It's just organic. Yeah. You just end up going into it.
Go. You're like, or doing this. Okay.
Yeah. So like, I'm just waiting to see. Oh yeah, this is sick. I think one round before this other dude, I think he was wearing all black. He just came up to me and I was like, "This is my opponent, right?" Like no one's fucking confirming. Oh, this is my opponent. Okay, cool.
Oh my god.
And I think I got this is pre Google Maps, pre Uber, so it was.
You're old.
So so I think I got to semis for that, but I left because it was getting really late, and the place I was staying at was at New York, and this was in Jersey City, so I was like, I don't want to fucking get lost.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck. I was like, for the longest time, like, should I stay? It's like, get 10 o'clock. Should I stay?
Should I stay?
Like, I don't know this neighborhood. I don't want like anything bad to happen to me.
Start thinking about the pros and the cons.
Yeah, I was like, because I was like looking at my MapQuest directions, like, and I was like, when time does it close? Can I still, like, yeah.
Can I make it?
Yeah, I was like 21, first time, I was traveling by myself. First time in New York and New Jersey by myself, so I was like, I wasn't sure what.
Were you scared?
No. Well, yeah, that's why I was saying, like, should I? That part, yes. Like in another city where I wasn't kind of planning to be at, like, and not knowing, because I didn't do any research on it, I was like, I don't know what to expect. Yeah, and because my impression of Jersey City when I got out was didn't look like a friendly neighborhood to be out late at. Yeah, even though I think I looked the part, hoodie, brown, and all that stuff, but I just
deep down inside,
I'm like,
don't see through me.
Like I know I probably look like, they called that out in my style of breaking. Because a lot of them was very foundation. A lot of them fucking had their basic, I guess, foundational power moves, flare, head spins, all that stuff. Mills super clean, but at that time, the style of breaking that was popular within at least my familiar circle was more of the blow up style. So roll back blow ups, foundation, and creative ways of getting into freezes. So I did more of that versus what a lot of them were doing. So I don't know. I feel like because of the whole internet generation, YouTube wasn't that big yet. So because now like everyone's style seems similar, but then there was like someone came up to me and was like, "Yeah, you got that California style." I'm like, "What?" Like like I thought I was just breaking. That's it.
And then you're just like, yeah. You start thinking, oh my gosh.
Like, do I really stand out right now?
Is that a good thing?
Because I mean that's one of the reasons I joined breaking like 2005. That was when like I'd say like peak unique styles, like Style Elements, still one of my favorite crews to this day. B-Boy Crumbs, Remind, super unique. And if you pull one, you put these three dancers together, you can tell who they are just by how they dance. So and then there was a crew back in the day, I think they were called Cabbage Patch Crew.
Cabbage Patch.
So they were known for the circus style breaking. Like they were
interesting.
So that's why I was like, back then it was like, so everyone was super different, at least in this area. Like when I would go to the jams and there would be in the gyms, I'm like you can see the uniqueness. So
just like, damn.
Yeah. So it was nice to be acknowledged. It was California style or West Coast style. I'm like,
You're like, wow, you can tell.
It's like, wow. Oh, I'm not from here.
I'm not from here.
But yeah, it was cool. And then I liked that format of the battle because you're not waiting. You're just constantly actively dancing. So yeah, I mean, do you plan on doing all these other bigger battle events like Red Bull Dance Your Style?
I don't know about that. Cause maybe one day soon, but I wouldn't have any expectations. I never have any expectations.
That's like the best way, cause
no, cause like I go into prelims and I'm like, all right, we lost, we're not going through. Let's just have that in our mind. That's it. We did our best, and then that's when I get shocked if they call my name. I'm like, oh my gosh, really?
No, like, cause there's no pressure at that point.
Yeah, you're just like, okay.
Yeah. What are your plans with dance? Like, do you planning on going like going industry? Are you planning on going like just professional battler and getting paid that way, or being an instructor?
That's the thing. I have no plan. I have no plans of such. It's really, here's the thing about when it comes to like having goals with me. A lot of the time, the reason I like got into Freestyle or something like that, or the reason that like I met up with Liz and stuff like that and got to perform and all these opportunities, a lot of the times it's just me going with the flow and just winging it. Yeah. So when I of course, like I have these ideas of me like continuing to be like a dance teacher, maybe for a high school, kind of like my own high school teacher, and teaching like high school students or teaching kids. And but I also have goals of like, I want to perform on a big stage. I don't know what that means, but I like to perform like on a huge stage. I don't know what, but and then like touring, that sounds cool to me too. Like honestly, like this is what I say about dance. Like, if you love dance, you love all of dance, kind of thing. Like, if you say, like, if you love dance and have passion for it, you would learn more about it. And that's just kind of how I go about it with me, because I love everything about dance. So I'm very curious of going into the industry side. I'm very curious of just staying in the community or underground side, or like going to be a teacher or whatever that looks like. So, like, it's kind of like how I was as a child, being interested in so many things. I just want to do everything, and let it lead me to somewhere, So yeah, no particular thought process of how to get to set goals. But I'm just like, let's just go. Like, and that's just kind of how, like, a lot of the things that I get into and a lot of opportunities that I've gotten is because I've had that mindset of, like, let's just try it. Let's just do it. Like, yeah.
How old are you?
22, about to turn 23.
Oh, nice. Oh, you're going into your Jordan year.
Wow.
I don't know. It's Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Yes, I know.
So yeah, in case you're too young for that.
Oh no, I know. It's okay. It's okay.
So I think I've had this conversation with you already, but not on the podcast. Like, how did the whole lockdown coronavirus affect you with your dancing? Because I know, because we had this conversation, but I kind of want to share it, because I think where you were before and where you are now is really inspiring, and I think people deserve to hear it.
Yeah. So when this whole, like, thing let loose, the virus and the quarantine happened, it was like major lifestyle change for me, because I was so used to, like, this is my life pre-virus. Yeah, pre-virus.
I say pre-Rona.
Pre-Rona. Let's do that. Pre-Rona. And I was going to school every day. Like, I would have full schedule of school. Then I would either have a rehearsal for Freestyle, or a rehearsal for Liz, or a rehearsal for Kinesis, or the season show.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Damn.
For the show. And so it was either that, or, like, I was always doing something. I was always dancing. It was always classes, eat somewhere, find a way to eat, more classes.
Find a way to eat, don't starve.
Don't starve, remember to eat. Rehearsal, it could be like a Liz rehearsal on a Wednesday or something, I don't know. Then the next day, classes, a rehearsal for a show that we're doing for school. Then Versatiles on Fridays, and then Sundays, So I was always dancing, I was always moving.
Yeah.
I would go to school like around, let's say 9 in the morning. I would not come back to home until like 1 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I hang out with friends at night, because that's our only free time. That's our only free time to really have a social life of some sort.
Yeah, that reminds me of much of my early femme these days. After rehearsal, just hang out.
Because that's really, like, the only time you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was very much so like that every day. And especially with 2020, the year started, there was a lot of things going on, like events and stuff like that I had planned out, especially with Liz's 2020 vision. And, like, everything, like, we had all these plans. We're like, yeah, we're going to do this and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's going to be so cool. Then everything was just like, nope, we're going to shut down everything. And then that's when it was just like, I have to be at home all the time. And at first, it was just very like, yes, I get to rest. I get to sleep more. But then I got tired of it after like 2 days or 3 days of it. I was just like, because it was just like, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. Classes are in Zoom, but we're not really meeting up. It was just mainly assignments.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't even like see, except for my stats class. I hated it. But who cares about stats? Anyways, props to the statisticians, whatever they are.
Statisticians?
Yeah, those people. But it became very much so like stuck. I felt very stuck in the beginning, like the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It was very stuck, and you couldn't see anybody, and you couldn't really like, the only means of conversation was through FaceTime or whatever it is, but that gets old very quickly, and you're just like, wow, like, because then internet's cutting off or whatever, or like something's going on, and you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, like it was just a sudden life change, and then then anxiety hits, and you're just like, oh my gosh. The only and the household that I live in, it's like very much so. I don't have my own room, it's a 1 bedroom, and we live with other people and stuff like that. And so there's no means of privacy of any occasion, so you're always like, the minute you wake up, it's automatically same routine every day, get breakfast, whatever, sit down, but you can't even walk a lot anywhere. Having I don't know how to explain it, but it's just very much routine. Okay, get up, go over here, then over here. That's it. Stay there for a few hours, go over here because you got to use the bathroom, then come back. It's very much so it's routine that you just plays on every single day, and you're just stuck.
It sounded like your previous routine was very even your pre-Rona. You had a routine, but it was a routine filled with variety.
Variety, yeah. It's I understood that these things were scheduled, but it was just very different. You're able to go outside, you're able to travel this, and they complain how far it is to get there, But for me, it was just boop, boop, boop. Yeah. And then, and I had a hard time dealing with that because I was just tired. I was just tired, and I didn't want to talk to anyone, but I had to talk, And then and then that's why I always say I really appreciate Diego being there, because he was he would stay up at night with me just to talk. Even though if he had work in the morning, we would stay up till 3 just to talk, because I didn't have I can't talk to anybody during the daytime really. So that's why this is rare for me. It's usually I have to mute all the time. Even if we're in conversation, I have to mute, because there's so much going on in my household that nobody knows about. You can hear everything going down. There's loud conversations, so there's not really that much space and time for myself kind of thing. So, so the only time I do have is at night. It's late at night when everybody goes to sleep. But I have to be very, very quiet and very, very mindful of banging and stuff like that. You have to be very quiet. I still do have to. That's still my time to myself. But it was very difficult, and especially in that beginning, I would actually have Diego on FaceTime during the day too. Even if we weren't talking, he was on FaceTime with me, because I don't know, it was just that difficult.
It's nice emotional support.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is.
Because that's what my girlfriend. She lives. You met her this past Sunday. You met her in real life too. She lives in New Jersey, so we sometimes just co-work, but we just have each other on Google Hangout, and we're just co-working.
Just hang out.
Just to kind of and feel each other's presence in a sense.
Yeah, and that was for me, especially in the beginning. But that was tough. I was anxiety. I don't think I ever felt anxiety as high as I did during those times, because that was when I was just suddenly I would just end up crying at night, and I'm just why am I crying? I don't like this feeling. I don't like this feeling. Get me out of here.
How did you start working your way out of I guess out of it, so to speak, or how did you start adapting? That's okay.
How did I start working out of it? I think this is the time where school's already ending, classes are ending and stuff like that. I still had to keep up with that, It was cool doing those school online, mainly because the dance classes that I had, we would have to send our videos to dance. So there were moments of okay, this is fine, How I started getting out of it is can't really put a pinpoint on time, but I just know.
Or what were the steps? What did you do? How did you start shifting every day, or even a perspective shift? Because I still feel a lot of people may still find themselves in a very similar position. They feel stuck, but maybe it was something they did differently. Was it something you did differently every day? Was it a realization? You know what I mean?
I started really doing solo sessions. Yeah, the moments where. This is when I started establishing a time within my family and be hey, I'm going to dance during this time. Can you please not walk across the living room or walk across this little pathway we have?
Yeah,
You
'cause
know,
if you walk there, you're gonna get hit.
yeah, you walk there, it just destroys my whole mojo. That's it. Gonna have to stop.
So that's really
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, keep going.
I started doing those solo sessions. I was like, you know what? I need to dance somehow. I need to train somehow. You know, we've been still doing training with Freestyle every Sunday, but obviously in the beginning it was just they were still figuring it out too. You know, so it wasn't really as hardcore as it used to be.
Yeah.
So I started as like, you know what? I need to not allow myself to be engulfed in this feeling because we're going to be in this for a long time. You know, there's no sign of it getting better so soon.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I need to do something about this. So I needed to take initiative and just give myself time, even if I need to make some modifications of some things. So I started doing sessions and stuff like that, and doing those little online classes, like with Mob HQ. We're doing those online sessions. And
Shout
those
out to
really
Mob
fun.
and J. Chris.
Yeah. Those classes, man, they were helping me so much. And then that's when I stumbled upon Randy's post that she was going to do a floor work program via Zoom. And I was like, this is it. I don't care how much. Let me do this. Like, I have to do this. Because, like, I feel like you need to change your perspective, especially if it's a sudden life change, you know. Yeah, go ahead and have those moments of anxiety or sadness, or whatever it is, or those, like, those desires that we all want. But eventually, when you allow yourself to just stay in that, you're doing more harm to yourself. You know, you can complain all you want, you know, but that doesn't do anything. So that's when I was like, all right, Rosie, we got to do something about this. We got to, because like it or not, for better or worse, we're in the situation. So let's just make the best of it. So that's whenever there's a lot of cons to this position that we're in, but there's a lot of pros too, because I've been taking a lot of classes from teachers and from people that I never thought I would ever take classes, you know, because of the whole time situation pre-Rona, you know, because my schedule was so busy. I was never going to be able to take Randy's class. I was never going to be able to take Jesse Sykes' class, waiver. I was never going to do all these things. So when I saw that post that she made, I was like, this is my opportunity and I'm going to take it. You know? And there's so many opportunities that are there, but people can't see it because they just think, I'm at home, this is annoying to me, I can't do it. You know, so they already shut off that opportunity, you know. So that's how I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. And it's been a great decision that I've made, because I've just been opened up to so much more movement and even more time to dance, you know. And now I'm doing another program with Devious that I'm gonna start training today after this. I'm excited. It's popping. And yeah, so I feel like with this whole Rona thing going on, it sucks, yeah, but take advantage of it, you know, because I feel like eventually we're gonna get out of this. So this is the time to really do what we want to do. Like, if you need that rest, take that rest. But if you want to take those classes that you've been saying, like, oh, I wish I could take this person's class, go take it. They're offering these privates, they're offering these times, or whatever it is. And of course, I don't know anybody's situation, but it's like, don't have that conversation with yourself and don't allow yourself to be a victim of this whole thing. Because I see that a lot. Still to this day, I see a lot of people being like, I just don't feel like it, and nothing's the same, and I just want to get out of here and see my friends and all that stuff. And it's like, oh, boo-hoo. Yeah, guess what? We all want to do that, but we can't. So it's time to get the reality check and do something about it. Yeah. And like, I've seen people that have taken these opportunities, and I've seen a lot of people that I had so much hope for that they were gonna like continue working hard, but they just like fell down and fell short. And it's like, man, like, you could have kept going if you really, really wanted to.
Yeah, I feel like this whole thing, because you shared so much fucking wisdom. I love it. It's gonna be a lot of micro content for you. So like,
thanks. I made it.
It's gonna.
I made it.
You're gonna be your own inspirational meme. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think like while everyone's 2020 vision was different, I feel like, you know, life is very indifferent. There's a whole the classic saying of, when man plans, God laughs.
Yeah.
So, and then
that's so true.
2020 is definitely that. And then instead of like and I've said this so many times, like 2020 vision isn't so much like what your vision of like what you're going to achieve, but it's like 2020 vision of, I feel like, looking into yourself and a society as a whole, getting the clarity so we can, I guess, approach the upcoming vision. Because if we move forward without addressing ourselves as a society, it's like we're only doomed to go backwards.
Yeah.
And especially with people coming home and having nothing to do, I still see it as an opportunity for people to, as you shared, for people to lean in on the hobbies they've forgotten, the passions they forgot, spend time with their family, even triple down on their self-care, whatever it is that's speaking to them, because everyone's life is different. And even more so with there's something that you mentioned, the thing that you were saying about feeling like it, like, and it's a two-sided coin in a sense, or like, we on one side, yes, listen to your body, to like on your mood that day, but at the same time, if you want to make something the most out of this and build, I don't know, your next stream of income, your next skill set, feeling like it is not going to help you get there.
There's a quote that spoke to me recently. Pastor Mike Todd said, "Your feelings can lie to you." You know, so yeah, like you can pay attention to it, but like if your feelings are telling you like, we don't feel like doing this today, so we're not gonna do it. Your feelings can hold you back, essentially. You know, so it's just finding that motivation, you know, because you cannot rely solely on motivation of others, you know, people motivating you. You have to have that self-motivation.
Yeah. Like, it's like, I'd say important to acknowledge the feelings. Like you said, like it's okay to feel it, but also like a lot of people, I think, this is just my opinion, people, like they lack the why or the vision of why they're doing it, something to begin with. Like, I don't know, working out, like why, like if they don't feel like working out, like it's obvious they're tired, whatever, rough day, etc., etc. But if they have a vision, they have something that they want to achieve at the end of the day, then fucking, you know, success or whatever, it only matters when you show up. And that's like going doing every single day. That's one of the reasons we're still doing this podcast, because I'm like, I mean, I shared with you guys in that meeting the fucking plan that I had with you guys, the videos. Here's going to be a media day, all this stuff, but somehow, like the podcast, I imagine just filming it in a studio, but it's different. But it's different now. So, I would say like adjust, and then even if you're, no matter where you are, I still think it's an opportunity for you to lean in, whatever that looks like for you. Yeah,
I feel like there's this whole like, man, 2020 just keeps getting worse and worse, and just cancel 2020. It's like, listen, I feel like 2020 can still be a great year if we want it to be.
Yes.
You know, I feel like, yeah, you have all this stuff going on, yes, but to cancel 2020 just tells me you're just focusing on the negative. And
it's a losing mentality. You quit before it even finishes.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, like you just wanted 2020 to hand you things? Like, no. Like, here, you can have all your plans work out. No.
At this point, it's like no one's plans are working out, so everyone's kind of in the same playing field. So like, figure that shit out now.
Yeah, it's like, what are you gonna do? Like.
Yeah, because like the way I see it, like we're still in the third quarter of the game, so you still have a chance to make the most of it. It's not the best of circumstances, but you can still make the most of the circumstances.
Yeah.
So like what? Because people complaining about it. Like, have you heard of the book "The Man's Search for Meaning"?
No.
It's from a Holocaust survivor named Viktor Frankl. He lived in the camps, but he found a way to be happy. Because happiness, is obviously, it sounds cliche, but happiness is within. It's a mental choice. It's making the most of what you have, all starting with gratitude. All the new agey stuff you guys hear, but if a guy like Viktor Frankl can find happiness in a camp during the World War II era, you can find happiness with all the luxuries.
Exactly. Like, all you see is complaining, and I'm just like, you have a roof over your head, okay? There are people that don't have a roof over their head.
We have internet.
We have internet. Can you imagine if this was back in the old times? Like, you had to wait for letters, like.
Yeah, there's like only radio or shit, dude.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm just like, oh my gosh.
I have a belief that people should go to a third world country at least once in their life.
Yeah, I think so too.
Have you ever been to one?
No, but I've been to Mexico.
Okay.
But my family, it's not so much for me, just because I understand that my heritage and all that stuff, but for me, it made me humble of what I have, because my family there, we live in a very, very small village. At first, it wasn't even on the Google Maps.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yes. And but it's a small, very small village, and when we even go to town, it's like a little small plaza. Like, that's how tiny it is. And I remember like we always have to, like, we have these water thingies outside, the bathrooms outside, and all that stuff. We only, like, a couple of years ago, I think, very, very recently, they added a bathroom inside the house that flushes on its own. Yeah. So, but like, we essentially live in the jungle, essentially. Yeah. And but like, even like then, they are so much more happier than we are. like it just really, like, they're very, like, fine with the little things.
Dude, that is exactly what I noticed when I went to Jamaica, when I went back to the Philippines. Like, they had so much less than we did, but they were happier. And honestly, when I was there, I felt happier. I felt more relaxed.
I felt happy too. I was like, oh my god.
Because, like, I don't know, there wasn't. Maybe it's because we're away from our home and, like, all the daily stresses, but it's like you feel the energy of, like, some less but more, in a sense.
Yeah, like, I remember, like, from my memories, it was so cool too, because we had a little convenience store right next to us and a little convenience store right in front of us where we lived. So it was so convenient. Like, even it was so small and, like, rustic, and, like, they don't really have, like, that cement on the ground and stuff like that. But it was so nice, and we lived by a river. The donkeys would go crazy at night. We would get mad. But it was still happy. Like, it was still great.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I think, like, people who are complaining about champagne problems or first world problems, need to experience that of having not much. Because, in the States, we complain about the 1%, but to the rest of the world, we are the 1%.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, okay, I'm going to start cutting a short ending it here because I know you have class.
Oh, that's right.
So
dang, the time went by so fast.
Right? I told you. So, I'm going to just shoot you a couple of rapid fire questions just for fun. And then we're going to close it out. Okay? Your social security card. Go.
No.
Okay. So, if you could be any animal, what would it be and why?
A lion, because that's my zodiac sign.
Oh, God.
Leo season.
What is the one thing that annoys you the most?
People that say something or say they're going to do something, but they don't do it.
Fucking... Dude, are we, like, somehow related?
Sonic Knuckles again.
I know, for real. What would you do on Mars for fun?
Build a sandcastle.
Oh my god. What would you do with your 15 minutes of fame?
Put out my Venmo and tell people to bring me money. Venmo me money, please.
What is... No, you're not tall.
It's a tough question. You think I can't answer it?
What? Okay, here. What is your least favorite beverage?
Least favorite?
Least.
Root beer.
Ooh, dude.
I don't like that stuff. That's so weird.
Last question. What's your favorite memory?
In general?
Yeah.
My favorite memory was when Emeroy was a lot nicer to me in the beginning.
Was I nicer to you in the beginning?
No, you weren't.
I was about to say, like...
I'm trying to save your reputation.
I think I have a reputation of being kind of like edgy.
Edgy. You want to call it edgy?
Well, or rude. I mean, I've shared this with you guys. I kind of like do that in the beginning to kind of like dissolve kind of any formalities. Wow. So, and now we're comfortable talking shit to each other, but we're also comfortable being truthful with each other.
Yeah, but the truthful part is like, oh, we're being truthful? Are you okay?
Oh, it depends, because it's like we're assholes to each other. The truth doesn't hurt that much compared to people who are just nice.
The truth doesn't hurt.
Because people are like, oh yeah, they're friends, and I call them selling out on your friends. Because like, oh yeah, I don't want to tell my friend the truth because I don't want to hurt their fucking feelings. But when we're kind of assholes to each other, we're like, we're assholes. We kind of duke it out anyways. The truth is kind of going to be like, oh, okay, they're comfortable enough to be honest.
I know they're being real.
Yeah. So, and I'm pretty blunt. So.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. He cries.
Wait, that's not was that your actual first favorite memory?
No.
Favorite
no. Favorite memory? I think favorite memory is I think all my favorite memories are within being a child because you have no responsibilities. No bills to pay. No nothing.
Okay, boomer.
Oh, wow, you got me.
I finally got it.
Do you feel proud? Do you
feel
proud of yourself?
I feel hip.
That's such a boomer thing to do. I feel great.
I feel great. I feel relevant again.
That's so sad.
All right. So, sorry, was there anything else you wanted to
add? Thanks for having me here today.
So, no, in regards to the question.
No.
Right. Okay, last question. I know it's a question I asked on my other podcast. What do you want people to say about you when you're gone?
Oh.
Got like super serious real quick, right? Like, oh, fun, serious.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh. Serious? Wow. Okay. To a memory, I would want people to... Well, that's kind of hard. It's a little narcissistic. I don't know. Just to remember me how I am, and I'm hopefully that is being as kind as I can be, caring, generous, hopefully, because that's always the goal. You know, you just never know how good of a person you are. So it's like I feel like to me that's like. I would always want to be that person for someone to say, yeah, that person is like really, really kind. He really cares, I would hope people could remember me like that. And I think I would want them to remember my smile too. Because when I was a kid, I never liked to smile. I never liked my smile.
Really?
I had crooked teeth, so I always covered it whenever I would laugh. I would always laugh like this.
Not gonna lie, I've noticed you kind of did that like through parts of the podcast.
Yeah, I have that habit.
I thought it was because like you would cover your braces, because I had braces too.
I had braces I started having them in 2017 or 2016, and I got them off in 2018.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's not very long ago, but feels so long ago.
Yeah. I was definitely in college still with the braces, and I was always like that. But as growing up, since middle school, I would always cover my face like this.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've gotten, I think because honestly, like when people, like when you tell me, and then like when others started telling me more and more, like, oh, I like your smiles, that let me like, oh, I like my smile too.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, like the positive feedback loop. Yeah, I mean that's definitely one of your very noticeable features, like right off the bat. Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that too.
I know probably mine is my charm and my wittiness. I think my girlfriend might disagree.
I think a lot of people disagree.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to give Rosie a follow and support her on Instagram or anywhere else. Are you on TikTok or just Instagram?
No, Instagram. That's my bird.
Okay. Give her a follow on Instagram. Links and everything are in the description down below. If you like this episode, make sure you hit like, subscribe, share those friends who you think might benefit or be entertained from it. With that, ladies and gentlemen, that's this episode of Throwing Tantrums. We'll see you guys on the next one. Appreciate you guys. Be safe wherever you are in the world. Love one another, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.